Hello, lovely yogis of Inner Fire. What a delight to think of you out there. I have missed you very much. My name is Sandra. This is Morty. Morty is my co-teacher. He gets in the way sometimes, but he's important. So this is the first in a series of short videos about different arm balances. And today we're going to work on Bakasana, or crow pose. So let's start with just a little bit of warming up. Come to the top of your mat and take a breath. Inhale, hands to heart center, exhale. And inhale. Forward fold all the way down. Bring your hands down, bring your heart down, bring your head down. Let everything release. Take a half lift, inhale. Plant your palms, exhale. Step your feet back over your dog to a downward facing dog. Push into your hands, let your heels lower. You might walk your dog out a little bit. Take a little inventory of your body. Where do you feel tightness? Where do you feel looseness? Where do you feel readiness? Plant your hands strongly. Isometrically hug your hands toward each other. Tuck your lower ribs in toward your body. Release your heels down toward the floor. Let your head hang. Push into your hands. And then roll forward into a plank pose. Lower down halfway. Pull yourself up over your toes. Whoops. Shoulder over your wrists. Release the dog. There we go. And then back to downward facing dog. Okay, you can do more of those, of course. Just have to do some symbolic sun salutation to get things going. Right, Morning? And then I'm going to ask you to lie down on your back. The two areas we want to get ready to work in preparation for Bakasana are your core muscles and some work on your shoulders. So plant your soles on the mat, knees are bent. Take your hands to the ceiling and lift them up as if you were trying to put your palms on the ceiling, flexed at the wrist, palms up, shoulders come off the floor, and let them come back down again. Once again, palms to the ceiling, shoulders lift up, and then bring the shoulders back down. Third time, palms to the ceiling, and shoulders back. Good. Now, bring your knees up into an air chair. And contracting your belly, lifting your pelvis up. You're going to bring your knees up onto your triceps. And then release. Keeping your wrists flexed, arms extended. Knees to tricep. Good. And release. Feel the warmth coming into your belly. As you're doing this, bring your chin down. Neck is long on the mat. Palms are toward the ceiling. Knees are coming in toward your triceps. Pelvis does lift up. Let's do two more. Lifting up. Okay, now, after this one, continue, but bring your heels in toward your butt. So when you crunch in, you get this sense of really curling up and release. And curling up and release. Good one. One more time. Curling up and release. Let that go. Roll out your wrists. Good. And then come onto all fours. So you're going to plant your palms right under your shoulders, knees right under your hips, feet right behind you. Spread your fingers wide and allow your shoulder blades to come toward each other as you drop your chest down toward the mat. This is your shoulders in retraction. Then we're going to reverse that. Push into your palms. Let the shoulder blades separate. Push all the way up until you're in a full protraction. And then we're going to go back and forth a few times. Feel your belly engaged. Spread your toes on the mat. Drop your chest down so you come into shoulder retraction, shoulders coming toward each other. And then the opposite. Push away from the floor. Protraction. This is the action that we want in the shape, in Bakasana. So once more, just to get the feeling, drop down for retraction, lift up for protraction. Stay for one more moment and breathe. Beautiful. Come down to sit on your knees. Roll your wrists out. And then let's just stretch out our hands a little bit. So extend your left hand. Take hold of your left thumb and draw it back towards your elbow. First finger. Good. Second finger. Ring finger. Little finger. And the other side. Thumb. Forefinger. Middle finger. Ring finger. And little finger. We've got the belly warmed up, we've got the shoulder articulation clear. Bakasana is one of the arm balances that I consider a hugging in arm balance. So the action when you're in the pose is all about hugging in and lifting up through the core. So we have the basic foundations. Let's go for it. Plant your palms, spread your fingers wide. Hands or wrists are shoulder distance apart. You're gonna come up on your toes and then walk forward until you can get your knees all the way up into your armpits, and you kind of scoop your elbows out and then bringing them in under you. You're up on your toes, knees are planted firmly in my armpits. You could stay right here. This is all the crow action. Notice my shoulders are protracted. My gut is sucked all the way up into my body, and my gaze is forward at the floor. Now to take it the next step, you simply lean, 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 lean. Pick up your feet, hug them toward each other. Elbows are slightly bent. Push to the floor. Breathe. This is your Bakasana, crow pose. And then gently come down. Good. Let's find a forward fold, trying to keep chest plastered toward thighs. Take a half lift. Inhale. And fold one more time. Exhale. Good. Soften your knees. Reach your leg all the way up. Inhale, palms together, gaze high. And then hands back to your heart with an exhale. That's your basic crow. Practice that until you're comfortable. And then we're going to do a couple of variations. We're going to do something called baby Bakasana or little Bakasana. It's a tiny little arm balance. It is crow, except instead of on our hands, we're on our forearms. So set yourself up with your forearms on the mat, fingers spread wide. Good. And then you're going to walk your knees up onto your triceps. You're really all very close into yourself. Knees right on your triceps, forearms down, and then it's a simple tilt, 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 teeny tiny, teeniest, tiniest arm balance in the world. Push your palms into the mat, forearms into the mat, and then release. Very good. That's baby Bakasana. The next one that we're going to look at is Ekapada Bakasana, or one-legged Bakasana, sometimes called flying crow. And you begin by going into crow as normal, hands down. There are a lot of ways to get into this pose. This is the way I do it. Hands down. Bend your knees, suck them up into your elbows. Pitch yourself forward so you're in your crow. And then shift your weight over to one side, extend the other leg up and back, and breathe, and down. Nice. Inhale up, hands to your heart, exhale. Of course, you gotta try the other side. We'll see how that goes. One more inhale. Hands all the way down, exhale. Plant them out here. Bend my knees, up on my toes, scoop my knees into my armpits, fingers are spread wide, tip forward into my crow, sucking up my belly, sucking up my toes, shifting my weight. Oops, can't do it this time. I'm sure I can. Let's try it again. This is my harder side. There's always a harder side. Here we go. And extend. Oof, that one kind of fell apart. And I'm going to rest in a Malasana squat for a moment. And then forward fold. Lift up, inhale. Hands to heart center, exhale. When you go for a pose and it doesn't go that well, there's often this moment of displeasure or disappointment. And it's a great opportunity to practice tolerating when things don't go as well as you want them to. It's this tiny little microcosm, tiny little moment where you might feel frustration or shame or impatience, and to practice acceptance and understanding that every day is a different day in yoga, every side is a different side in yoga, and sometimes we're going to have all the right action in a pose, but it's not going to look the way we want it to, and sometimes it's just going to fall apart, and that is kind of the way life goes. Next time you're on the mat, you might find that it's with such ease that you do something that a day before was incredibly difficult. So the last thing I want to show you is moving from Bakasana into a tripod headstand. I do want to mention that I don't advise this unless you have an established headstand practice. We know that tripod headstand is one of the headstands that puts more pressure on the top of your head and on your cervical spine. And so it's not wise to engage in this unless you are able to monitor the amount of weight that you're putting on the top of your head and have the muscular energy to lighten it as much as possible. And I also don't recommend staying there very long. However, this is very fun. So give it a try if you feel comfortable. Otherwise, just see what it looks like. So we will start once again in Bakasana. Knees in armpits, shifting forward, toes together. There's my crow. Now I have to soften to get my head onto the mat. A little bit of bump there. And as I go into my headstand, what I'm thinking about is keeping my elbows at that 45-degree angle and lifting up, soaring, sense of lightness. You'll notice in this tripod headstand that my two hands and the top of my head create a triangle, an equilateral triangle, and that is the most stable base. Now to go back, I'm going to bend in, I'm going to curl right back up where I came from, put my knees back on my triceps, plant them there, and then I have to think about butt down, head up, butt down, head up, butt down. Oh, it's going to happen. There we go. Oops, lost it. Head up, and the curl. So that gives you some ideas of things you can do with your Bakasana pose. Crows are a sign of good luck, and I wish you good luck on this lovely day.